how are all the mischief makers, all the cunning people able to devise processes, ways, organizations and mechanisms that actually work in the world? If they do not have clarity, how are they able to succeed? What do you mean by work in the world? What do you mean by that? Somebody is a car manufacturer. First of all, the extraction of raw material, the preparation of the steel itself is something that consumes a lot of energy, generates a lot of pollution, adds to the global warming. Then he comes up with a product which has a questionable, limited and dubious utility. You see people driving a car which occupies a lot of space alone. So the SUV may be an 8-seater, but there would be one person driving it. This is the kind of product they come up with. And then all kinds of mechanisms are employed to sell this product. A car is projected as something essential to a good lifestyle. All ways are adopted to sell cars. A lot of marketing, advertising, tempting is involved. Would you say the whole thing is working? Working for whom? Would you say the whole thing is working? Working for whom? You go to the markets and the markets look like working. It is working, it appears so, but for whom? Who is benefiting? Who is benefiting? What do you mean by working? You go and you tempt somebody to buy your product. And would you say that your system is working? Because your system is able to entice people, to tempt them in, to seduce them in. Is that what you call as working? But yes, the system is working in a very, very hideous way. It is working in the sense that it is working if we accept that the very objective of the system was just to promote misery. Then it is working because it is succeeding in its objective. Because that is all that this system is giving to everybody involved in the system. Misery. So there is only one way we can claim that the system is working. If we agree that the very objective of the system was to propagate and enhance suffering, then yes, the system is working. In no other way can we claim that the system works. Never think that there is the exploiter and the exploited. There is only the exploited and the exploited. You may be going out to sell an unworthy, misery furthering product or service. Do not think that you have made a fool of the customer. You have made a fool of yourself. And on the other hand, if you are able to sell a product which gives joy and alleviates suffering, then you have given something of value not only to the customer but also to yourself. Just as there is nothing called the exploiter and exploited, there is always the exploiter and the exploited. Similarly, there is nothing called the redeemer and the redeemed. There is the redeemed and the redeemed. By helping others, you help yourself. By sinking others, you sink yourself. But because we are so very drunk that it doesn't become obvious to us, so we think that the system is working for the evildoers. It is not working at all. And I am not saying what goes round comes round. No, nothing of that kind. What I am saying is, the moment you go out to cheat somebody, you have already created suffering for yourself. In fact, this very thought to exploit someone cannot arise without your own suffering. It is only when you are not joyful that you want to exploit somebody. So for whom is the system working? Are those people really free? Do they know love? Is the simple happiness of life available to them? Are they at peace? Is it possible to design their kind of products and advertisements while being at peace? Is it possible to have that kind of a fire to sell while being at peace? And it is not that you do not know that your product is harmful. You know that, right? You know that more than the customer does. The tobacco seller, the cigarette manufacturer, knows about the ill effects of his product more than the smoker does. Does he or does he not? And knowing what he knows, if he still proceeds with doing what he does, can he be at peace? Can he be at peace? As a teacher, if you are teaching something to your student which you know is of very little value to him, don't you see you have already created so much suffering for yourself? But you will not factor that in your salary. You don't even know how to calculate rightly. You will get an X amount and you won't be able to deduct the amount due to suffering. Well, compensate me for my suffering. Deduct at least half of my salary for the suffering this earning has caused me. You won't do that, right? You will say, oh, my methods are working. I am cheating on people and I am able to make a fat buck, which proves that my devices, my mechanisms are working. Are they working? And you will hear this very often. Oh, this is now not how the whole thing works. Ask them, does it work at all in the first place? I am not asking how it works. I am asking whether it works. You will have enough people who will come over and tell you, no, this is not how the game operates. Let me tell you how the whole system operates. Is it operating at all? Does the damn thing move? Don't tell me the mileage of the car. Tell me whether it starts at all. This car that you are trying to sell me, This thing doesn't move at all. It doesn't work. And if it moves only in the reverse gear. It goes in a direction opposite of where it was intended to go. If it was intended to give me happiness, it only gives me misery. It doesn't work. If you find people claiming it works, then they are cheating you. If you find people with smiles on their faces and festivities in their homes, kindly know that they are suffering within, and this entire show is to cheat more people, to exploit more people. This entire show is to further their cunningness. It doesn't work. It cannot make you happy. So the biggest lie is these happy faces.